Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump.
Yo, it's Mr. Trumptastic. Yeah, I'm about to hit y'all over the head with another bang. Yeah, this that Ray Epps, Turn Up Patriots. Yeah, y'all gonna love this one. Yeah.
Play this record as frequently as possible.
Okay. Ray Epps, I seen Ray Epps working for the FBI. I think you know he made a bet. His name is on the payroll. You know he just cashed his check, streaming at the Capitol. D-State didn't pay him, man. Informant in a Trump hat. You know he ain't talking right. FBA raid and I haven't beat the case yet. Trump ties matter, but I didn't bake the cake yet. Ready, set, go. I took off in a spaceship. I think you sold your house but left your kids in the basement. Pull my Trump card, now you gotta play your aces. Ray Epps for while under investigation. Can't charge me yet, I'm a walkie litigation. January 6th, Ray Epps on vacation. If you get jammed, it'll ruin your reputation. Yeah, I flipped the game, made it spicy like the Cajun. Supersonic flow like I played with Gary Payton. You used to be a guy, but change your name into Satan. Mr. Trumptastic, I sell at your stadium. Surfing in the stars with humans and Palladians. I can make your soul glow like 80 Arcadian. Yeah, Ray Epps, I seen Ray Epps, trumpet in the skies, and he's headed to the Capitol. Yeah, Ray Epps, I seen Ray Epps, trumpet in the skies, and he's scamming at the Capitol. Yeah, Ray Epps, I seen Ray Epps, trumpet in the skies, and he's headed to the Capitol. Yeah, Ray Epps, I seen Ray Epps, trumpet in the skies, and he's scamming at the Capitol. Yeah, Ray Epps, I seen Ray Epps, trumper in the skies, and I seen him taking baby steps, convictions on the scale, but I didn't even wear him yet. Mr. Trumptastic, I'm popping out your take deck, right at the Capitol. I had to use my street smarts, hiding in the bushes, same color as the tree bark, strapped up like a seatbelt. I'd rather push the keys to start. Ray Epps on the loudspeaker, and he had a megaphone. Mr. Trumptastic, I'm creeping out the catacombs. I feel like Don Jr. around Christmas when my daddy's home. Play you like a trumpet, then I blow you like a saxophone. I can shoot off balance while I'm aiming at the target spot. Ray X exposed, changing clothes in the parking lot. Yeah, Ray Epps, I seen Ray Epps, trumpet in the skies, and he's headed to the Capitol. Trumpet in the skies, and he's headed to the Capitol.
Yes, we are back. We are back again, y'all. Man, go check out last night's show. Man, last night's show was epic. Yeah, we put a lot of revelations on the table. A lot of people got tricked, y'all. A lot of people got tricked. A lot of people hopped off the bandwagon because of this Iran strike, but it had to happen. It had to happen, y'all. Yes, people are being very disgruntled about it. So we're gonna go into some footage, some video, this video review. We're gonna go into some footage about the strikes. I think it was called Project, what was it called? Project Midnight? Yeah, Project Midnight. We're gonna have to get into it. Let me pull this up. We on top of their heads, man. We on their heads for real, y'all. Yeah, we on their heads for real. It ain't just him. It's the Hodge twins, too. Hey, do not let your foot off the gas when it comes to these social media influencers. I'm telling you that right now. It's a lot of them, man. They breaking down, you know what I'm saying? Trump is dismantling Iran and Israel's deep state. You dummy. And they don't like that shit. Or they don't even know they don't know nothing about governmental policy and religion. They don't know nothing about nothing, as you can see. Their knowledge is cap. Their knowledge is cap. All three, their knowledge is cap, y'all. when Trump destroys the facilities you helped pay for, and you got people up in an uproar. People don't know like this dude. You think the person that posted this know what the fuck going on? Hell no, man. President Trump all in his shit. Now the thing is, guess what's gonna happen? Netanyahu, he go try to undercut this strike. Watch, because we all know Netanyahu, he's a slime ball. All right, he's a fucking slime ball. But like I said, every country has a deep state. Good versus evil, y'all. I just don't understand. Here go some more news. A man just rammed a truck into a Christian church in Wayne, Michigan, before opening fire on a crowd. Now the thing is, I told you we got sleeper cells, and I told y'all y'all don't need to be in no damn crowded building trying to do anything, because guess what? You gonna have another Dylan Roof. You gonna have another Dylan Roof type situation, and guess what? Guess what? Y'all gonna say the same thing we've been saying all our lives. Why are they attacking Christians? Why are they slaughtering Christians? And we went into the science behind this too. Why are they slaughtering innocent Christians? Because they are the sacrificial lamb for deep state activities. And this will always happen until they get some damn police officer in the church, because obviously God ain't stopping no damn bullet. All right. Obviously, God ain't stopping no damn bullet right here. Motherfucker went in the church, rammed his truck. See, if there was a real God, his truck would have ran out of gas. You know what I'm saying? He would have ran over a nail. He would have slipped over a banana peel. But like I said, there ain't no real God when it comes to things of this nature. See, the thing is, y'all worship an imaginary God. See, God means guide. Who are God? Why don't these people? See, the thing is, with the political climate in America right now, you have all these foreign entities that are in America. A lot of them hate Christians. I'm gonna be honest with you. Shouts out to my Christian folks out there that's watching, man. I got a few Christian people that watch me, the ones that know what's going on, but the other ones, they disown me. I'm gonna be honest with you. Fuck them, because they going to hell with the Antichrist anyway. But shouts out to my real Christians that still rock with me. And I rock with y'all because shit, they picking on the Christians, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, when it comes to any religion of what I would align to, it would be Christianity. Okay. It'd be Christianity. But I can understand why these people are easy targets, because they lambs. Lambs are easy targets. They just follow the shepherd. And when the shepherd is corrupt, or when somebody's playing the shepherd, innocent Christians become easy targets. They become the bullseye for these evil regimes. They become the scapegoat for these evil regimes. And I talked to a Christian lady not too long. I sat down and talked to a white Christian lady. She said, Jesus, I worship Jesus in my own home, and then I talk to her out in the public here, and she pulling people to the side. But that's what she said. She said she don't go. She said the church. She said the church is cooked. She said the church is done for. That's what she told me. That's what she told me about her. She's about a 56-year-old white woman. She had her head on right. She was like, I ain't doing it. She said, I know the church done sold out to the mega churches. See, the mega churches, they buy up all the little churches, just like how Walmart buys up the mom and pop store. See, they in here playing around, playing theater. It's all theater. It's all theater. And guess what? While they was playing theater, somebody that's evil, they ain't fucking playing around. They're not playing. So yeah, we done heard stuff like this. Who she said? She said it was. Let me guess. Allah Akbar. We gotta figure out who this dude was. We gonna go into this video footage, and I'm gonna just chill because I'm just going over these trending topics right now. It said it was not. It said this was not an Arabic person. Let me see this shit. What the hell? So I don't know if this was a Arab or what. Hold on, I'm about to figure out now. Let me reset this. I want to figure out who this was. Who was this motherfucker? This said a gunman opened fire during service at a Crosspoint Community Church in Wayne, Michigan around 11 a.m. A local time. About 150 people were in attendance, including children. The suspect is identified. Oh shit! Oh shit! He was a whitey. Yeah, he was a whitey. He was a whitey. So he was reportedly ran over by a church member's truck before fatally shooting a security guard. Yeah, that's whitey right there, y'all. See, that's y'all subhumans, and we got subhumans in black communities, white communities. You know what I'm saying? The bad folks. It's the bottom of the barrel, whitey, right here. We got bottom of the barrel, all kind of races. That's crazy work. That is crazy work. But yeah, I got that from David Harris Jr. page. I can see he trying to stay neutral. David Harris Jr. He trying to stay neutral because he don't know what the fuck going on. I told you a lot of these influencers, these social media influencers, they have no clue. So those are the motherfuckers that stay neutral, that don't have no clue what's going on. I have many clues. Here go the Hodge twins. Should the U.S. get involved in Israel's war against Iran? This dude right here, 90% said no. So the Hodge twins basically said, y'all remember how you felt when Charlie Kirk did this poll 10 days ago? And you already know Charlie Kirk, he's an Israel head. You know what I'm saying? So 10%. And a lot of Trump supporters follow this dude. So last week, see, the Hodge twins trying to fight back. The Hodge twins are trying to fight back. And the thing is, I'm pretty sure, like, man, of course we shouldn't get involved, but that ain't that's not what's on the table. Of course we should get involved, but that's not what's on the table. So yeah, he did his poll. The Hodge twins, the Hodge twins ain't trying to lay down. The Hodge twins are not trying to lay down, y'all. Hold on, man. He said, for this says the Lord of the hosts. After glory he has sent me, the nations which plunder you, for he who tortures you tortures the apple of his eye. Zechariah 2:8. Well, I tell you what, man. What did he say? This dude, Texas Patriot, I think he paid off too. This dude right here. He been talk. We pulled his ass up about 2 weeks ago. He going against Trump. Operation Midnight Hammer. That was before. This is after. This is what it did. So that bomb probably caused an earthquake. That's what that earthquake probably was in Iran. They said it was an earthquake in Iran, but you know it might have been because of this. I don't know if it was during the same time or what, but like I said, these things cause earthquakes and shit too. So yeah, this is how you get into these nuclear facilities because they build domes, underground bases. Those are underground bases. So that's what they allegedly used to drop that hammer, Operation Midnight Hammer. Before and after. All right, we about to go into some. We got to go into some video. What the fuck? He said Iran about to turn off turn off the world's oil. Iran is about to turn off the world's oil. Iran moves close to Strait of Hormuz. This 21-mile wide waterway moves 1 in 5 barrels of the global oil. This could be bad for the world. Prices of oil will skyrocket. The prices we have never seen before. Man, we got our own fucking world oil, motherfucker. See, people like this, man. Come on, bro. He got 47,000 followers. He out here just hold on. He might be straight. Yeah, this dude's straight. I could tell by his post. It ain't him. He ain't one of them. I'm looking at his post now, but this is stupid. I don't believe this shit. This is stupid. We got oil. We don't need no Iran oil. The thing is, if they do cut it off, Trump go turn it right the fuck back on. I don't. Y'all be underestimating Trump, man. Pope Leo. What Pope Leo say? War does not solve problems. On the contrary, it amplifies them and inflicts deep wounds on the history. Man, yeah, Pope Leo. We know that, but it is what it is at this point. Pope Leo. Pope Leo, he personifies the papacy. And guess what? You think he cares about what his Catholic religion did in the Crusades? Hell no. His religion killed so many damn Christians, but he ain't gonna fucking say that shit because he a fucking hypocrite. Talking about war. Give all that damn tax money back then that's coming out the Vatican if you feel that fucking way. He can't do it because he ain't got no real power, first of all. So go talk about war. If we flip the pages back and look at y'all history, y'all shit corrupt as fuck. Motherfuckers, I swear, man, people be hypocrites nowadays. You know, it ain't never go pan out for some people because they don't know how to tell the truth. The truth ain't in them, y'all. The truth ain't in them. That's why they run and hide behind these damn pages. Shit. Let's get into this video. This Operation Pentagon outlines Operation Midnight Strike on Iran. All right, let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it. I'm gonna mute my mic. This is about 20 minutes, and then we go on to another video for these Johnny come. Sometimes you gotta sit down and listen. I could tell a lot of people don't watch things. They just basically scroll on their phone and they try to put the pieces together in 5 seconds. It don't work like that. Just because you on the internet and you got a smartphone in your hand don't mean you smart and wise. Doesn't mean that. So let's get into the video, y'all. I'm gonna pause my mic and then we'll chime in. I'm not gonna interrupt Pete. I'm gonna let him speak his mind, and then we go into some more videos. This is more. I hope y'all like the introduction because this is the end. This is the end for some people. All right, it just is for a lot of these content creators. It's the end. It's the end. So you can't smash my world because shit. I'm already on the way up. I already been down long enough because of censorship. I don't give a fuck about, you know what I'm saying? I know I ain't gonna phase. I know I ain't gonna phase out. That's the thing with me. I got material on top of material on top of content on top of content out this bitch. We ain't gonna run out, family. Trust me. We are not gonna run out of content. All right. So let's continue. Pause my mic. I'm gonna chime back in. We just said we just have to do this, man. This is mandatory, y'all. We have to dissect what's going on. This is mandatory. A lot of people right now, they're not doing that. They're not watching anything. They're just flipping back and forth on the news, trying to piece together what's on the news and on their social media accounts. And then they formulate an opinion that don't make sense. And you ask them, hey man, can you tell us about why this happened? Oh shit, I'm just against war. I don't want nothing to happen. I'm just against war. And then shit, we shouldn't be bombing. But man, can you explain why? Can you explain why you said that and what's going on? Oh man, shit. I mean, and then they dead quiet, man. They dead quiet. Anytime Obama has funded weapons of mass destruction in Israel, I don't care what, I prefer Trump to do his thing. I don't give a fuck what he do at that point. At that point, when we know Obama sent them damn dollars, yeah, we already knew what time it was, and they was possibly gonna be blown to smithereens. Now, shit, what I predict Trump gonna drop some more bombs. That's what I predict. Trump really trying to get that Israeli Mossad deep state. That's what we trying to do because Israeli Mossad, they Iranian and motherfucking Israeli. They both religions. All right, you're not gonna be able to tell. Why are you not gonna be able to tell? Because you're stupid and you've been listening to Gumps for the last few years. So let's go. If the shoe fits, wear it. If it doesn't, you safe, man. And I'm saying you save it. And like I said, the shoe fits, wear it. Sometimes you gotta wear that shoe. I don't have to wear that shoe before. You know what I'm saying? Luckily, I don't have to wear it now. But some people, well, it ain't some. All people gonna have to wear. Oh, that shoe fits, wear it in some type of form or fashion. Go hit me up on Facebook. I hate Facebook. To be honest with you. This motherfucker don't know what's going on either. We already went over him. We went over this Facebook because the thing is, I'll pull your ass off online and put you on the show just to show people who we dealing with. So I pulled his ass off there. I'm like, damn, this motherfucker look out like a damn Iranian. And he went on his Facebook page and made a rant and said, oh, I'm going to give Trump 48 hours to explain himself. Like he the goddamn fucking president out this bitch. He just a old washed up old head on the damn internet that don't know shit and just complain about everything but don't know shit. You just got a couple of followers because you think you popular, but you ain't making no real connection. A lot of people really ain't no real content creator. They don't go live and then they just post pics from X and other platforms and just repost them. But if you hop on a fucking comment section and you ask them, man, how they feel about what they posted, they won't even fucking be able to tell you because they just copy and paste and shit. They ain't in tune for real. They just following the algorithm. That's it. It'd be like 100,000. Dude got a 50,000 followers. Motherfucker ain't pushed the live button that one time. Versus nigga, I push the live button every fucking day. My number's low as hell, and they censor me. Y'all figure it out. Y'all figure it out. We already went over that. Y'all figure. That's why I said it's the end. It's the end. Just if you love doing it, do it because you love doing it. But if you're trying to make anything else outside of it, man, it ain't gonna work, fam. They go censor your dumb ass. All right, let's go.
And it was clear. We devastated the Iranian nuclear program. But it's worth noting the operation did not target Iranian troops or the Iranian people. For the entirety of his time in office, President Trump has consistently stated for over 10 years that Iran must not get a nuclear weapon. Full stop. Thanks to President Trump's bold and visionary leadership and his commitment to peace through strength, Iran's nuclear ambitions have been obliterated. Many presidents have dreamed of delivering the final blow to Iran's nuclear program, and none could until President Trump. The operation President Trump planned was bold and it was brilliant, showing the world that American deterrence is back. When this president speaks, the world should listen. And the U.S. military, we can back it up. The most powerful military the world has ever known. No other country on planet Earth could have conducted the operation that the chairman is going to outline this morning. Not even.
We give up so many freedoms as a service member when we deploy that 99% of the country just doesn't know.
Every time I choose to help a military person, I get the opportunity to stand for something greater than myself.
The military lifestyle is still so relentlessly challenging. We need as many people as we can, all hands on deck, to make sure that we're taking care of these folks because they're taking care of us.
Close. Just like Soleimani found out in the first term, Iran found out when POTUS says 60 days that he seeks peace and negotiation, he means 60 days of peace and negotiation. Otherwise, that nuclear program, that nuclear capability will not exist. He meant it. This is not the previous administration. The President Trump said, no nukes. He seeks peace, and Iran should take that path. He sent out a truth last night saying this: any retaliation by Iran against the United States of America will be met with force far greater than what was witnessed tonight. Signed, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Iran would be smart to heed those words. He's said it before, and he means it. I want to give recognition to the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the Joint Staff, General Eric Kurilla at CENTCOM, who did a phenomenal job, he and his staff, all of CENTCOM. Policy, across the board, this was a joint effort, and across the Pentagon effort. I want to recognize the pilots who flew those bombers, who flew those fighters, who flew those refuelers, warriors. I want to recognize the sailors on those destroyers, in those subs, on those carriers, warriors, all of them. I want to recognize our soldiers doing air defense, base defense, QRF, warriors, all of them. Every American involved in this operation performed flawlessly. And I want to give recognition to our allies in Israel as well. This is a plan that took months and weeks of positioning and preparation so that we could be ready when the President of the United States called. It took a great deal of precision. It involved misdirection and the highest of operational security. Our B-2s went in and out of downtown Tehran, of these nuclear sites, in and out and back without the world knowing at all. In that way, it was historic. A strike that included the longest B-2 Spirit bomber mission since 2001 and the first operational employment of the MOP, a massive ordnance penetrator. The mission demonstrated to the world the level of joint and allied integration that speak to the strength of our alliance and our joint forces.
I'm ready as I'll ever be.
As President Trump has stated, the United States does not seek war. But let me be clear. We will act swiftly and decisively when our people, our partners, or our interests are threatened. Iran should listen to the President of the United States and know that he means it, every word. I want to give congratulations to our Commander-in-Chief. It was an honor to watch him lead last night and throughout, and to our great American warriors on this successful operation. God bless our troops. God bless America. And we give glory to God for his providence and continue to ask for his protection. I turn it over now to the chairman for specifics.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thanks for recognizing all of our folks out there doing our nation's work, and nice to see everybody on this early Sunday morning. Last night on the President's orders, U.S. Central Command, under the command of General Eric Kurilla, executed Operation Midnight Hammer, a deliberate and precise strike against 3 Iranian nuclear facilities. This was a complex and high-risk mission carried out with exceptional skill and discipline by our joint force. I want to thank every service member, planner, operator that made this mission possible. Their actions reflect the highest standards of the United States Armed Forces. This operation was designed to severely degrade Iran's nuclear weapons infrastructure. It was planned and executed across multiple domains and theaters with coordination that reflects our ability to project power globally with speed and precision at the time and place of our nation's choosing. This was a highly classified mission with very few people in Washington knowing the timing or nature of this plan. I'll refer you to the graphic on the side as I walk you through some of the operational details. At midnight Friday into Saturday morning, a large B-2 strike package comprised of bombers launched from the continental United States. As part of the plan to maintain tactical surprise, part of the package proceeded to the west and into the Pacific as a decoy, a deception effort known only to an extremely small number of planners and key leaders here in Washington and in Tampa. The main strike package, comprised of 7 B-2 Spirit bombers, each with 2 crew members, proceeded quietly to the east with minimal communications. Throughout the 18-hour flight into the target area, the aircraft completed multiple in-flight refuelings. Once over land, the B-2s linked up with escort and support aircraft in a complex, tightly timed maneuver requiring exact synchronization across multiple platforms in a narrow piece of airspace, all done with minimal communications. This type of integration is exactly what our joint force does better than anyone else in the world. At approximately 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time last night, and just prior to the strike package entering Iran, a U.S. submarine in the Central Command Area of Responsibility launched more than 24 Tomahawk land attack cruise missiles against key surface infrastructure targets at Isfahan. As the Operation Midnight Hammer strike package entered Iranian airspace, the U.S. employed several deception tactics, including decoys, as the 4th and fifth generation aircraft pushed out in front of the strike package at high altitude and high speed, sweeping in front of the package for enemy fighters and surface-to-air missile threats. The strike package was supported by U.S. Strategic Command, U.S. Transportation Command, U.S. Cyber Command, U.S. Space Command, U.S. Space Force, and U.S. European Command. As the strike package approached Fordo and Natanz, the U.S. protection package employed high-speed suppression weapons to ensure safe passage of the strike package, with fighter assets employing preemptive suppressing fires against any potential Iranian surface-to-air threats. We are currently unaware of any shots fired at the U.S. strike package on the way in. At approximately 6:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2:10 a.m. Iran time, the lead B-2 dropped two GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator weapons on the first of several aim points at Fordo. As the president stated last night, the remaining bombers then hit their targets as well, with a total of 14 MOPs dropped against two nuclear target areas. All three Iranian nuclear infrastructure targets were struck between 6:40 p.m. and 7:05 p.m. Eastern time. Again, that's about 2:10 in the morning local time in Iran, with the Tomahawk missiles being the last to strike at Isfahan to ensure we retain the element of surprise throughout the operation.
At Primrose Schools, your baby's understanding of empathy begins with cuddly friends. Their first lesson in science begins with a splash. Because we nurture their curiosity when everything is wondrous and filled with love. Primrose Schools, this is the beginning of something big.
Communicating project status and timelines can be challenging. Turning complex data into clear, actionable insights sometimes feels overwhelming. And that can lead to misalignment and confusion. But what if you could transform project data into compelling visuals in a fast and simple way without any hassle? Well, with Office Timeline, you can do that right inside Microsoft PowerPoint. It's designed to make your life easier. Just pick your favorite project management tool.
Following weapons release, the Midnight Hammer strike package exited Iranian airspace and the package began its return home. We are unaware of any shots fired at the package on the way out. Iran's fighters did not fly, and it appears that Iran's surface-to-air missile systems did not see us. Throughout the mission, we retained the element of surprise. In total, U.S. forces employed approximately 75 precision-guided weapons during this operation. This included, as the president stated last night, 14 30,000-pound GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrators, marking the first ever operational use of this weapon. I know that battle damage is of great interest. Final battle damage will take some time, but initial battle damage assessments indicate that all three sites sustained extremely severe damage and destruction. More than 125 U.S. aircraft participated in this mission, including B-2 stealth bombers, multiple flights of fourth and fifth generation fighters, dozens and dozens of air refueling tankers, a guided missile submarine, and a full array of intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance aircraft, as well as hundreds of maintenance and operational professionals. As the secretary said, this was the largest B-2 operational strike in U.S. history and the second longest B-2 mission ever flown, exceeded only by those in the days following 9/11. Well prior to the strike, General Kurilla elevated force protection measures across the region, especially in Iraq, Syria, and the Gulf. Our forces remain on high alert and are fully postured to respond to any Iranian retaliation or proxy attacks, which would be an incredibly poor choice. We will defend ourselves. the safety of our service members and civilians remains our highest priority. This mission demonstrates the unmatched reach, coordination, and capability of the United States military. In just a matter of weeks, this went from strategic planning to global execution. This operation underscores the unmatched capabilities and global reach of the United States military. As the president clearly said last night, no other military in the world could have done this. I join the president and the secretary in being incredibly proud of the air crews, naval forces, cyber operators, planners, and support teams and commanders who made this mission possible. It is their skill, discipline, and teamwork that makes this operation possible. I am particularly proud of our discipline related to operational security, something that was of great concern to the president, the secretary, General Kurilla, and me, and we will continue to focus on this. As we stand here this morning, many assets are still airborne, and we have hundreds deployed. I ask that we keep our warfighters on their way home and our deployed service member in our thoughts. Our joint force remains ready to defend the United States, our troops, and our interests in the region. Thank you very much.
We will take a few questions, Phil.
Me? Yeah. So is regime change off the table, Mr. Secretary? And to the chairman, you said the battle damage assessment is still ongoing, but do you believe that some nuclear capability in Iran remains?
This mission has not been about regime change. The president authorized a precision operation to neutralize the threats to our national interests posed by the Iranian nuclear program and the collective self-defense of our troops and our ally Israel.
Thanks for your question. I think BDA is still pending, and it would be way too early for me to comment on what may or may not still be there. But thanks for the question.
Green. No, behind you.
Excuse me, Mr. Secretary, can you tell me, was there a particular moment when the president decided to pull the trigger on this operation where he said, now, rather than being, something in the holster, now we're going to pull the trigger on it?
I would just say, having the opportunity to witness his leadership, he was fully committed to the peace process, wanted a negotiated outcome, gave Iran every single opportunity, and unfortunately was met by stonewalling, which is why he gave them plenty of time to continue to come to the table and give up enrichment, give up the nuclear program. But there was I won't say the particular moment, there was certainly a moment in time where he realized that it had to be a certain action taken in order to minimize the threat to us and our troops. Yeah.
Problem solved, sir.
General, you say that General Kurilla increased force protection in Iraq, Syria, and Gulf, and those areas. Were they given any advance warning the attacks were coming? And also, Mr. Secretary, when were congressional leaders notified? How long before the attacks took place?
Sure. To your first question, the risk has clearly been rising over the last few weeks in the region. Based on that and not a particular awareness of this operation, we've made smart decisions to minimize the risk to U.S. forces in the region.
So they were given no advance warning?
No, sir.
In congressional?
They were notified after the planes were safely out. Well, we complied with the notification requirements of the War Powers Act.
Attacks, they were notified.
They were immediately thereafter. Yes.
Thank you, Secretary. Two quick questions. Do you believe you completely destroyed Iranian nuclear program? And how about Iranian ballistic missiles? Your ally at Israel always saying that is biggest threat. And second question is very important. What will be your next step if Iran or militias under Iranian influence on the region attack U.S. interests or allies in the region?
And you can chime in on this too, Mr. Chairman. The battle damage assessment is ongoing, but our initial assessment, as the chairman said, is that all of our precision munitions struck where we wanted them to strike and had the desired effect, which means especially in Fordo, which was the primary target here, we believe we achieved destruction of capabilities there. Ultimately, wherever it may be, whether it's in Iraq or Syria or bases in the Gulf, as the president said, it would be as the chairman said, it would be a very bad idea for Iran or its proxies to attempt to attack American forces. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Regarding retaliations, Iran and North Korea are cooperating on nuclear and missile development. Do you think there is a possibility that Iran, North Korea, and the other forces, such as China, will join forces to retaliate against the United States?
Well, unfortunately, because of the policies under the previous administration, we drove those countries together. And ultimately, that creates a challenging environment. For this particular operation, the focus is on Iran and Iranian nuclear capabilities. That's our focus here, is to not just say that they can't have, but President Trump has said from over 20 years, frankly, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. And ultimately, he decided this is the moment, given their stonewalling, when direct military action had to be taken to prevent that from happening. Yes.
Thank you very much. General Caine, I understand OPSEC, I respect OPSEC. Can you say at all what security procedures are being taken to protect U.S. troops in Iraq and elsewhere in the Middle East? And Secretary Hegseth, as a global war on terrorism veteran, what do you say to veterans who may be concerned the U.S. is getting into another open-ended war in the Middle East over
in 2021, one of many ways that Joe Biden pandered to Black Americans that his party has marginalized for 60 years and just used for their votes. He's set to speak in Galveston, Texas today. Biden is. He's actually going to talk again. Trump chimed in, honoring Juneteenth by putting out a post that complains that there's too many federal holidays, which is hilarious. Larry Elder joins us now with his take on Juneteenth. And Larry, I'll let you take it away. Go ahead.
Well, isn't it interesting that Biden, of course, is speaking about Juneteenth today? This is a guy, Rob, who's lied about his alleged civil rights record for decades. Yeah. Claims that he desegregated movie theaters and restaurants in Wilmington, Delaware. Even the New York Times said there's zero evidence he did any of that. Claims he was raised in the Black church. The people at that church said they never saw him. He lied and said he got arrested trying to visit Nelson Mandela when he was in prison during apartheid South Africa with Andy Young. Andy Young said never happened. He gives a speech, Joe Biden does, at a historically Black college and says the number one threat to the homeland is white supremacy. He says virtually nothing about the real threat to Black America, which is the epidemic of fatherlessness, the lousy schools, K through 12. 85% of Black eighth graders can neither read nor do math at grade level. That has nothing to do with white racism. But the Democratic Party is obsessed with that because they believe that they can convince Black people to obsess about social justice and not think about crime or bad schools or the breakdown of the family. They'll pull that lever like lemmings and vote for the Democratic Party.
Isn't that something, the way it works? And you just, I mean, I always wonder what percentage of the Black population buys into the narrative that the Democrat Party feeds. And I mean, they obviously get the largest portion of the vote. Do people really buy the arguments, or are they just voting to, keep the whatever they're beholden to? Whatever, if it's some welfare, if it's something like that, they just keep going because they know they're going to get it.
Well, the good news is the growing number of Blacks are no longer buying it. I mean, Donald Trump got historic numbers of the Black vote, particularly Black male vote. And you've got people like Obama now coming out speaking. He recently spoke at Hartford, Connecticut, and talked about the war on truth. This is a guy, once again, who is the one who authorized Crossfire Hurricane. His Anthony Blinken, the guy who became Biden's Secretary of State, came out of the Obama administration. He's the one that put together that letter about the 51 former intelligence officials claiming that the Hunter Biden laptop story had all the hallmarks of Russian disinformation. Every year, Michelle Obama came out and claimed that women made less money than black men than men did for doing the very same work. If that's true, you'd fire all the men, hire women, and pocket the difference. It's a big fat lie that they keep putting.
Yeah.
I have no problem with having a holiday about the celebration of the end of slavery. My problem is how it came about.
Yeah.
The George Floyd thing, as you well know, George Floyd was full of drugs, resisting arrest. He was a career criminal, and there's zero evidence that whatever the cop did or didn't do to George Floyd had anything to do with his race. Why that was the genesis of Juneteenth, to me, is pretty offensive.
Well said. Larry Elder. Good to talk to you. Happy Juneteenth, I guess.
I guess so.
Right. The Federal Reserve refusing to cut interest rates again this week. The president furious. We saw it yesterday on the White House lawn, hammering Jerome Powell.
So we have a stupid person, frankly, at the Fed. He probably won't cut today. Europe had 10 cuts, and we had none. I've been so nice to him, fellas, you wouldn't believe. Let's have dinner. Too late. I'd go home too late. Come on, too late. Let's have dinner. I do it every way in the book. I'm nasty. I'm nice. Nothing works. He's like just a stupid person.
So the director of Federal Housing Finance Agency, Bill Pulte, is calling on Jerome Powell to resign if the central bank doesn't cut interest rates, which they didn't do this week, calling it reckless to leave the rates as high as they are. And Bill Pulte joins us now. And sir, it's good to have you on. What is your message to Jerome Powell as he left rates unchanged?
Look, this guy, we had to deal with him all throughout COVID, as you know, and we had mortgage rates skyrocket. We had inflation skyrocket over the last 4 years. It's time for Jerome Powell to go. I think President Trump has been a little bit nice to this guy, and I think, frankly, something needs to happen because we have an entire housing market, Rob, that is dependent on interest rates and sound monetary policy, and we have a guy who's not even looking at the facts.
Yeah.
He's not even looking at the numbers. Inflation has come down. Rates need to come down.
Is there any concern? I mean, I look at housing all the time, and it's the prices are just they're still so high. A lot of people say that if he were to cut rates, if you started getting mortgage rates down around 4%, the prices could go up even higher.
No, actually, we have a problem, which is that interest rates were low for so long that people are locked into their homes, and so you can't really get that old inventory churning. And so we really need to get supply up in this country. And Rob, if we have people locked in these homes with these low interest rates, you're not going to see that cycle. You're not going to see that inventory pick up. And so I actually think it would be very good for home prices if we could lower rates and get things moving again in this country.
It's a good take. Bill Pulte, good to see you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
This is a paid advertisement for legal services by attorney Andrew Van Arsdale.
If you were abused as a member of the Mormon Church, it is very important you pick the right legal team to get you the justice and compensation you deserve. With decades of combined experience fighting for abuse victims against the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, our team of attorneys have already recovered significant compensation for thousands of people who were damaged through their association with the LDS Church. As one of the leading firms in national sex abuse cases, our team can help quickly evaluate your claim, explain your legal rights, and help guide you on a path to the justice and compensation you deserve. Do not let the abuse you suffered go unaccounted for. Take the first step today by calling us right now and let us be your voice. The consultation is free and there is no fee unless we win. There are time deadlines, so do not wait. Call right now.
Call 1-800-660-8032.
Have you been in a motor vehicle accident that wasn't your fault? Then you may need legal representation. And if you call the number on your screen now, you can be connected to an attorney who can tell you just how much your case could be worth for free. And for a limited time, if you call now, you can get this elegant, luxurious gold watch with the money from your own case. To be clear, not for me. This is my watch. I own it, and I like it a lot. You can't have it. But if you call and win your case and the money is right, you can buy one of these watches for yourself, or any of these watches, or a different watch I've never even seen before, or no watch. The money is yours to do whatever it is you want. Just call the number on your screen now to find out how much your case could be worth for free.
To get a windfall, you first need to call. Call your favorite attorney now.
Call 800-487-0943.
And you can't have my tie either.
It used to be common. Our newscasters had common sense. They gave it to you straight, just the facts, and real news. John Bachman is like them. He tells it like it is. Catch him every weekday on Newsmax 2.
Look at this one under eye bag. It's gone.
There's this side and this side. This to this.
50 and haven't slept in weeks. 35.
Y'all see that? Trump didn't declare war. The president has the authority to conduct military actions as commander-in-chief. In 2006 alone, Obama dropped 26,000 bombs. 26,000. Yet Democrats still claim he never started a war. Somebody tell me that. Let's continue. Let's continue. It's the end for some people, y'all. It's the end.
Timer on, and we were screaming 4 minutes, 34 seconds, completely gone.
My real true opinion is holy words I can't say on camera. These lines bother me. They really do. And this is absolutely unbelievable. I mean, I could feel it just lifting my skin. It was amazing. It feels good. Feels great. Looks even better.
And not only does it work on the bags, it works on the appearance of crow's feet, fine lines, and wrinkles. So it targets all those problem areas.
So this would be a daily thing, or
it absolutely could be a daily thing. But the way you want to do it is you want to have a clean, dry face. You use a small amount because it's so powerful. You have high school reunions, you have events you want to go to, you want to look years younger. This is it.
At our $14.95 price, it's the best way to try Plexiderm and see it work after your first application. Your solution is at plexidermtrial.com or call the number on your screen.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to In Depth. I'm Bianca Della Garza. With tensions in the Middle East running high, the big question this week, will the United States enter the war between Iran and Israel? Earlier in the week, Kentucky Senator Rand Paul posted on X about the conflict, saying Iran is willing to return to the negotiations as long as the U.S. doesn't intervene. Decades of Middle East meddling haven't made us safer. Interventionism has failed. It's time for diplomacy, not endless war. I asked the senator about this and what U.S. involvement he would be comfortable with. At this point, we're watching and waiting to see what, if any, U.S. involvement there may be vis-a-vis bunker busters. You were pretty straightforward talking about accolades for the president, saying thank you for being unapologetic America first, and saying the fact that Iran was willing to negotiate an end to this conflict as long as the U.S. didn't intervene. But it seems like President Trump may be going in a different direction. What, if any, U.S. involvement would you be okay with?
You know, I'm very hopeful that the president will keep us out of this war. One of the things I like about President Trump is that he has shown restraint in the past and has shown some belief that intervention in the Middle East has led to unintended consequences. He refers to that with the Iraq War, of course. And so my hope is that we stay out of this war. I think there's still a possibility for negotiations. I think it's difficult to know how Iran's going to react. There's a couple of different possible reactions from Iran. They could possibly say, let's negotiate, we'll work on a deal to make sure that no nuclear weapons are developed. Or it's a possibility that they make a sprint towards a nuclear weapon because of this. And so that's the unknown thing about, you know, the beginning of this war, is we're not sure exactly how they will react. But I think if we get further involved, the likelihood of diplomacy gets lower and lower.
Oh, some say this would be more limited if there was perhaps just a bunker buster to wipe out some of the nuclear facilities, not maybe prolonged, could be more of a decisive end. Do you see that as a potential outcome as well? And is that something you're comfortable with if that is the ends to the mean, where Iran never gets a nuclear weapon? And some say it means not just Israel, but the world is safer, Senator.
Well, I think everybody hopes that Iran doesn't develop a nuclear weapon, but I don't think you can bomb away nuclear knowledge. It takes about a cupful of highly enriched uranium to create a bomb. And so I think that the possibility of being able to bomb away every cupful of highly enriched uranium is pretty small. The real question is, how will Iran react to this? And are we still open to negotiation? If Iran, after this incredible defeat by Israel, is willing to still negotiate, we should we should express all means and try to make every attempt to still have negotiation and not give up on it.
Let's talk about the big, beautiful bill. You also had a phone call with the president, and you just, again, praised him a little bit, but some thought maybe your relationship was a little bit frosty. You've been obviously a big critic on the debt ceiling as of late. The Senate Finance Committee released its version of President Trump's tax agenda. It scales back no tax on tips, overtime pay, cuts hundreds of billions in Medicare spending, and the SALT cap going back to 10, which we know the House wanted at 40, but that adds a lot of money to the bill as well. So first off, let me talk to you about what you're willing to negotiate. You told President Trump reportedly Saturday that you're not a no, but you say, too, they've been sending attack dogs at you, and that's not going to work. So what will work to get you to a yes here?
You know, I've been consistent throughout my career. I'm for lower taxes and less spending. I'm for balanced budgets. I'm for a small, limited constitutional government. With regard to this bill, the tax cuts I'm for, I voted for them in 2017. There's a few additional tax cuts. I'm for them also. I want to make the tax cuts permanent so we can have some certainty so business can develop. I think the low unemployment in Trump's first administration was largely regarding and the response of the tax cuts. I think it was a result of the tax cuts. So I'm for that. I think the spending cuts that are in the bill so far are wimpy and anemic, and I think should be made better. But I could tolerate the tax cuts that a majority of Republicans can conclude on. What I don't want to do is raise the debt ceiling by $5 trillion, because that means that we're basically expanding the credit line to Congress when Congress has already borrowed $36 trillion. We have a $2 trillion annual deficit. Our interest payment, for goodness sakes, is over $1 trillion a year. So this is by taking your 16-year-old, give them a credit card, they run up $2,000 in debt, right. And you say, oh, well, honey, I want to make it better. Why don't I make your credit $10,000? It's a big mistake. It's not conservative. And so I can support the bill, but they will have to separate the debt ceiling to another vote, or they have to dramatically reduce the number. I've said I will give them more credit for 3 months, and we should address this 3 or 4 times a year.
And no concern that since you have the Senate and the House now, that at some point down the road, though, you may need Democrat votes, and then it could become more problematic. What do you say to those who pose that argument?
Democrats have always voted to raise the debt ceiling. There's no historical evidence that they won't again. They love debt. I mean, the modern monetary theory is based on borrowing. They're the ones that always say we have to raise the debt ceiling. So presented with the vote, the Democrats will vote for it. They always have. In Trump's first term, that's how the debt ceiling went up, is with Democrat votes and big government Republicans. This will be the first time the debt ceiling and the spending levels and everything will be the responsibility of Republicans. If and when this bill passes, the debt ceiling and the spending levels, there's no more blame for Biden. There's no more blame for Democrats. Republicans can't stand up and say, oh, it's the Democrats who are for borrowing and spending and all that. No, it will now be the Republicans that are for borrowing and spending. So that's a big mistake for this to be completely on the shoulders of Republicans, and I'm not for it. There needs to be a conservative remnant who is the same as we've always been, against the debt and against the borrowing.
Senator, it's great to have you. Did you schedule a follow-up call with the president there after your Saturday call? Anything on the books there?
I've talked to him 3 times in the last week. We'll continue to talk, and they need to know that I am available. You know, if the discussion is there are 49 votes, I will not be the deciding vote against this. I will negotiate, and I'll be a yes if the vote is needed. Right now, they have sicked their attack dogs on me. All these crazy, scurrilous characters are attacking me. But the thing is, that's not likely to motivate me or make me willing to accept something that's not conservative. But I will accept a conservative bill, and if they need a 50th vote, they'll have to separate the debt ceiling out. It's as simple as that.
Senator Rand Paul, thank you for your time today. Good to have you. Next on In Depth, a rare showing of bipartisan support in the Senate. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle agreeing to pass a landmark bill regulating cryptocurrency. A closer look at what this means for you. That's coming up on In Depth.
You served your country with honor. Now get the benefits you've rightfully earned. Paul R. Lawrence has written the book every veteran should own, Veterans Benefits for You. This step-by-step guide breaks down what you need to know, from financial compensation and disabilities to information for dependents and parents. This book is a must-read for all servicemen and women. Get your free copy today with our special offer. Call the number on your screen or go online to order.
Hi, folks, we're back. If you've been injured in an accident that's not your fault and you don't have an attorney, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions and tell you what your case is potentially worth. Pick up the phone, call now.
The poverty is unimaginable. There are people who are struggling.
This is where she washes the dishes.
If you're ever going to allow your Christian faith to rise and to do something for God's chosen people, now is the time.
This is the home of Galina. She's 96 years old.
This is what she had to eat for today.
She has one pot with water and wheat.
My father was killed by the Nazis, and I was an orphan. I didn't know about God. But now, in the cold, hungry nights, I pray for food to the God I've never known. There are good people that love you.
You'll see the tears. Scripture says joy can come in the morning, and you can be the reason.
Right now in Ukraine, elderly Jews are trapped in unbearable poverty. If you will bless these hurting children of Israel, you will receive God's blessing in return. Your urgent gift today of $25 will help rush a survival food box filled with life-saving essentials. Call, scan, or go online now.
I'm not exaggerating when I tell you, I don't know how much longer she could have waited for us to come.
I can't even grow my food anymore. What will happen to me? I'm doomed to starve.
Tens of thousands of elderly Holocaust survivors and the former Soviet
of intelligence in Congress. I've been on the battlefield end of really poor U.S. intelligence, and I know what questions to ask. I know exactly where to dig. And I understand the difference in the confidence levels of the different assessments that they make. And ultimately, I wanted to set the record straight because CNN put out a report that said Iran was years away from a bomb. That's fundamentally not true. And as of 3 weeks ago, was the intelligence of the characteristics that would support attacking Iran? No, it also was not. And so within that last week and a half or so, something has clearly changed. President Netanyahu, President Trump are on the exact same page about that. That has not filtered down to us. And given that, I've taken a relatively skeptical position on the U.S. involvement beyond the support of Israel, which I think is incredibly important, not just because they're our greatest ally in the Middle East, but also because they genuinely face an existential threat with a nuclear-armed Iran. So I'm very deferential to them, but that doesn't mean that it's within our strategic interests to actually get involved, putting Americans 30,000 feet above the skies of Iran. Certainly do not think it's in our interest to put American boots on the ground. And so I think that there is a needle to thread here, given the realities and the changes that have occurred. I do not understand my Republican colleagues in Congress and in the Senate calling for regime change last night and across the primetime news hours. The warmongering, guys, we've got to stop that. We've got to be very cool and level-headed here. We need to achieve America's strategic interests, period. That's the America First agenda.
I'm so glad you brought up your experience as a consumer of U.S. intelligence. On that note, President Trump was very recently asked, why are you going forward with this kind of intelligence if even your own director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, was saying that the Iranian regime was not that close to a nuclear weapon, that they weren't building a nuclear weapon. And he dismissed it. He said, look, I don't care what she said. We are seeing intelligence that causes us to believe this is a reality. This isn't a game.
I have absolutely no reason to doubt President Trump, right? I have full faith and confidence. President Trump has dealt with these situations in the past incredibly well. And up until this point, I think he has really handled this situation very well, because he's very clearly putting now maximum pressure on Iran, but we have not yet committed troops into that conflict. He has offered diplomatic off-ramp after diplomatic off-ramp, and Iran has not taken it, even up to including what we're seeing coming out from their statements today. They seem to be escalating things and not de-escalating things. And so, that provides our president with very little option on how to move forward. But I do think he and I remain hopeful that there is a diplomatic off-ramp here, because if we can have access, voluntary access from Iran to dismantle their nuclear program in totality, and we can do that peacefully as opposed to actually do that kinetically, that is certainly in everybody's best interests.
And I think that's also the unsung brilliance of the way that President Trump is approaching this problem compared to the last 3-4 decades that our presidents have tried to tackle this issue. And that is by providing that off-ramp that you're mentioning. The off-ramp is the dialogue is forced into the hands of the most powerful agent in the room, the United States. So by us staying out of it officially, the United States is providing that on paper, we are still here to talk option for Iran.
That's exactly right. And that's where I think the brilliance of President Trump's strategy has really left all options on the table. And there is an opportunity for Iran to talk. Now, I think we have to understand culturally, they're going to kind of say one thing because it's a very prideful culture.
Right.
And they can't just be seen to capitulate. That is as bad as death in that culture. And so we've got to be kind of understanding of that. And I know in the background we are, but look, I think President Trump has handled this very, very well. Iran's got to make the right decision here. And I genuinely hope that they do.
Earlier in the show, in my monologue, I was taking issue with the fact that so many, rightfully afraid isolationists are out there. They're part of the so-called MAGA community. And they're out there saying this just feels like Bush 2.0. This feels like Iraq War 2.0. And I laid out that there were clear differences here. I mean, this is not the Saddam Hussein regime. I mean, the Saddam Hussein cast of characters in Iraq was a completely different scenario from Iran. So it feels to me dangerously simplistic to equate Khomeini in Iran with Saddam Hussein in Iraq, and then the attached motivations that were connected to President Bush, Cheney at the time. And they were clearly motivated by some psychological issues and bank account issues. I don't see those same factors in play now. And I think that rift within the MAGA community is quite dangerous, if not downright ignorant.
I think that all foreign policy is unfortunately always distilled down to dangerous simplicities. And the reality is this is incredibly complicated. There's no question about it, right? As we are moving all of these resources over into the Middle East, you know who's probably pretty scared right now? Taiwan. When you start thinking about the layering of how does our interaction in the Middle East actually impact what's going on in the Russian-Ukrainian conflict, what could happen between China and Taiwan with our change in force posture, the potential expenditure of a significant amount of our military materiel that we cannot replace very quickly, as we have seen over the last 3 years of conflicts proliferated across the globe. What are the second and third order consequences of actually putting a serious American fingerprint on the fight in Iran, not just supporting Israel, not just taking a defensive posture, not just selling them weapons, but actually participating in that conflict, those are very dynamic consequences. And I think from my perspective, where I have frustration over what I've seen in the last couple of days is that we seem to have many folks, particularly senior leaders in the House and the Senate, folks who have been around for a long time, that seemingly, let's just teleport ourselves 7 days back in the past. We were not talking about Iran as our greatest strategic threat. We were talking about